Welcome back to the Explainer. Today, we're diving right into ACIM, Lesson 100. And let me tell you, right out of the gate, the message we're unpacking today is, well, it's honestly one of the most deeply encouraging and perspective-shifting ideas you'll probably ever hear. We're going to break down some concepts that might sound a little lofty at first, but at their core, they are highly practical, incredibly uplifting, and frankly, a real game changer for how you go about your everyday life. So get ready, because we are going to look closely at why exactly you matter. Okay, let's dive into this. The core lesson for today is this exact phrase. My part is essential to God's plan for salvation. Just let that sink in for a quick second. You know, we so often walk around feeling like we're just this tiny drop in a massive ocean, right? Like our individual lives, our personal joys, our private struggles, that they don't really move the needle in the grand scheme of the universe. But this text, it's boldly claiming the exact opposite. It's saying that without you, the entire plan is incomplete. Your specific part isn't just optional, it's absolutely essential. So I want to ask you this directly, and it's a genuine question. Have you ever felt like your happiness just doesn't matter to the world? That maybe being happy is just a nice to have, a personal luxury. But in a world with so many serious problems, your individual joy is kind of irrelevant? Honestly, most of us have been conditioned to think exactly this way. We think doing good in the world means grinding through misery, and that personal happiness is something we might get around to later if there's time. But as we'll see, today's lesson completely flips that script on its head. To really understand why your happiness matters, we first have to redefine a pretty big word used in the text, salvation. The source talks a lot about God's plan for salvation, but it defines it in a very specific, really beautiful way. It's not about escaping to the clouds or anything cryptic like that. According to the text, salvation simply means reversing the illusion that we're all totally disconnected. It's the process of uniting separate minds into one shared purpose. And get this, that purpose is perfect happiness. It's simply about coming together in shared joy. What's really interesting about this slide is how it contrasts two entirely different ways of living. On the left, we often fall prey to what the text literally calls a mad belief. The idea that we're all completely separate bodies, with separate thoughts, living entirely separate lives. That belief just breeds isolation. But the cure, on the right side, is unity. It's the realization that underneath it all, separate minds share one unified function. And because we share that function, every single person is equally essential to the whole shebang. It's like a giant puzzle. You literally cannot have a completed puzzle if even one piece is missing, right? You are one of those pieces. Moving on to section 1, joy is your true function. Now, take a look at this incredible quote directly from the text. Without your smile, the world cannot be saved. Let's just pause on that for a second. Wow, the text is literally saying that without your joy, God's joy is incomplete. It explains that while you're sad, the light that's meant to save the world is dim and lusterless. And it beautifully adds that no one laughs because all laughter can but echo yours. It means your joy is contagious. And it's a necessary component for lifting up the rest of the world. Without your unique smile, the world's joy just remains incomplete. So the absolutely crucial point here is that choosing joy actively heals those around you. The text makes it very clear. God's messengers are joyous, and their joy heals sorrow and despair. It even tells us that sadness is actually a sign you're trying to play a different part than the one assigned to you. When you choose to be sad, you're literally depriving the world of the light you're supposed to bring. But when you choose to be happy, people see their own function reflected in your shining face, and they hear a call to let their own sorrows go. Which brings us to section 2, no sacrifice is required. Does God ask for your sacrifice? I want you to think about how humanity has historically viewed spirituality or higher callings. We almost always equate doing the right thing with giving something up, suffering, or, being a martyr. We think that to be truly valuable to the universe, we have to bleed for it. We have this deeply ingrained and, according to the text, totally flawed human belief that salvation requires sacrifice, loss, pain, or even death. But the text explicitly states that God's will for you is perfect happiness. So why on earth would you choose to go against that? The part assigned to you in this grand plan isn't a burden. It's given to you specifically so that you might be restored to perfect happiness. The text drives this home perfectly, stating, "You have indeed been wrong in your belief that sacrifice is asked. You but receive according to God's plan and never lose or sacrifice or die. The only thing being asked of you here is to accept happiness. That's it. You aren't being asked to give up anything real. Actually, scratch that. You're only being asked to give up your sorrow, your fear, and your illusion of isolation. Let's move to section 3, your daily practice guide, and see how this builds into something you can actually do today. The text outlines a really clear roadmap with 3 specific mental steps for practice. First, you state today's idea to yourself. Second, you consciously realize and accept that your only job, your only part is to be happy. Nothing else is asked of you. And third, you look deep within to find that joy. The text advises us to be undismayed by all the little thoughts and foolish goals that might pop up and try to distract us. We all have those trivial anxieties that cloud our minds, right? Well, you just have to gently pass right by them and look deeper for that inherent joy that is already waiting for you. So, how do we practically do this? The text outlines an exact daily time commitment. It suggests a 5-minute deep practice period where you sit quietly, follow those mental steps, and literally try to feel happiness arise within you. But hey, life is busy, right? So it also asks for quick reminders. Every single hour, you should pause and remind yourself of this truth. Answer that inner call by telling yourself that you are essential to the plan for the salvation of the world. So it's just a 5-minute deep dive and a quick touch point every hour. Super doable. To bring this explainer full circle, let's look at that core lesson statement on screen one more time. My part is essential to God's plan for salvation. Every single time you tell yourself this today, whether during your 5 minutes or your hourly check-in, you're actively participating in uniting humanity in shared happiness. You're letting go of the illusion that your joy doesn't matter, and you're stepping up to the plate as a messenger of peace. So what does this all mean for you right now? Well, the only question left is, will you choose joy today? Will you let this be the day that you succeed in finding it? I highly encourage you to try that 5-minute practice we talked about and just see how it shifts your entire perspective. If you found this explainer helpful in breaking down these concepts, please hit that like button and subscribe so we can continue learning together next time. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, and remember, your smile is absolutely essential.